art is not supposed to be treated like a currency. Like, it's part of the stocks or the cryptocurrency that you trade like that, or even a portion of the ownership thereof. So at this point, I'd like to know, what is the take of our master, Manny Garibay, more specifically on the real value of art? Sir Manny, take po natin.
Thank you for explaining that. And ko lang nalaman na sa parang it's like another stock that you invest.
Yes, that's what Masterworks has been advertising every single day on
So
Facebook.
that you never get to own the work. Kasi part of the attraction of art as investment is when you acquire it. Una, it's very portable. If it's not too big, it can hang in your walls. And then the beauty about it is it's portable because of its relatively small size or manageable size. And then it tends to appreciate more quickly than real estate, places of impact. And then your problem if you buy...
That's so great to know.
Right.
Good.
And then if you buy properties, if you're not able to manage it, it will be taken over sometimes by others. So it's a headache, and then you have to pay taxes for that. So maraming other considerations. It's way more cumbersome to invest on properties in relation to art. And then on top of that, if it's a high value art, then it's something that you can brag about. So it's a trophy. Pag mamaya ba mo sa mga whoever, kaibigan mo, so that's the attraction about it. In contrast to what you just said, parang, okay, you can invest because you yourself cannot afford the artwork. So parang people, well, I already had reservations about the idea of some buyers acquiring art without even seeing the artwork. That happens a lot. Ang nangyayari, they find out that a certain name artist is being exhibited, they call the gallery right away, reserve me an artwork. And normally they can only get one, because even if they decide to have more, they can only acquire one work because it's already allocated to certain name collectors. So parang it's not exclusive. So the feeling of exclusivity raises its value. But
that is the rarity of Manny Garibay.
I'm sorry.
The rarity of Manny Garibay.
Oh,
The rarity of the artworks.
I can. Well, yeah. So anyway, dinidiscard mo ako. So as I was saying, parang if you start being treated as investment, what does the artist feel like? Like, especially if you committed so much of your own investment in order to pour in the totality of yourself in your work. Ikaw yun eh. Ilagay mo sarili mo doon. Now, most artists do art because it is them. They are artists. They do not do art primarily to become famous, to become wealthy because of their art. So, if you start realizing that your work gets treated as currency, that's actually a devaluation of art.
I agree.
But, so, of course, like you said, and I've just been drawn into that picture. And how can I complain? Diba? Parang, what am I saying? Why should I be complaining? But
Parang naging shares of stock na bigla.
it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma, no? Parang that's the reality of it. Parang you're benefiting from the receptivity of the market. And at the same time, you start asking yourself, am I still myself? Am I doing what I do because I enjoy how the market is speculating on my art. So these are things that will always be a part of the dilemma of the artist. So, but of course, we join a world that is beset with so much complexity. So it's never simple, it's never black and white. It's never all about wrestling simply with what you regard as moral and ethical. There will always be compromises. So I think the next question for the artist is, so what you gonna do? Some of us are actually enjoying it. So I'm fine. They have no problem with that. And then siguro, or maybe I'm just one of those who don't make the video out of it. I mean, that's, I'm just speaking my mind out.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to tell our audience who is in the investment world and who are thinking about allocating a part of your portfolio on the shares of stock in a company that presents themselves as a buyer and seller of big art. Well, first of all, we have such thing as newcomers in the company. So these are companies that are not established. You really don't know where this company is going. So if one company presents themselves as a buyer and seller, and you're buying into their shares of stock, I myself, as your investment advisor, I wouldn't know if tomorrow you can sell that same shares of stock for the same value or more, or maybe less. I don't even know if you can sell it at all, because these are new companies who are just getting into the business. As compared with what Manny is saying, if you own the art itself, as compared to real estate, we're gonna go back to Master Nemi. We had to talk about the real estate. I own something for 30 years. I enjoy it for 30 years until one day there are squatters. This is a serious problem. And now, I don't, sabi nga ni Master Nemi, sinabi mo, real estate is like papel lang yan eh.
Yes, because I had this experience one time after the EDSA revolution. A realtor asked me to paint the EDSA scene with the background of the building he owns at EDSA.
Oh, the people power.
The people power. So he told me, okay, can we do it an X deal? What X deal? Oh, I'll pay you with a land, a property somewhere in Pasig, Quezon. So, okay, so I agreed because to me, I needed that property. But when the painting was delivered, he gave me a jokingly question. Okay, Nemi, what do you think? Which one will appreciate faster? My land property or your paintings? And sabi ko, it would be biased if I told you my painting will be appreciated more. But that is something I cannot answer. But one thing I can tell you is the painting that will be hanging on your wall every time you come in to your house, you will see the painting. But your property is just a piece of paper, and you will even know where the location of that land. And of course, I think for some time, painting can be easier to resell than the land itself. So anyway, after some 20 years, but he was then ready to tell him that artwork is much easier to appreciate. Because in so many instances, it is only artwork that really appreciate double time, triple time, 10 times faster than a real estate. A painting could cost 100 million, but you cannot really find a lot even in the Makati and the BGC area that would appreciate so fast the way an artwork do. Of course, with a certain level of artists who can really do that, but it happens. In the international market, it happens. In auction houses, you will be amazed to see how an artwork was priced so much that you can even imagine. So artworks, as we say, is the best investment. I said there are 3 types of investment. You invest in jewelries, you invest in real estate, and you invest in artwork. And I think the better answer to how artwork appreciate is most that people can choose to invest. And that's the reason why until at this time of our life, you can be surprised how our Filipino collector really are into this kind of business.
And I love what you said earlier, the extra bonus, which is to me the greatest bonus. You come home and you see your artwork hanging on your wall. It's food for the soul. I love that big bonus as part of your investment package. Now, of course, when you talk of investment, you want to be sure about the provenance of your artwork. And because our Professor Valer is not here today, he gave me a few pointers about provenance, which I would like to read some to you, and then I'm going to go back to our panelists. So, he was talking about the comparative analysis. Although in the Philippines, there are really no official, is that right? There are really no official people who can testify the provenance or who can ascertain the forgery of a certain art piece. But he gave me some leads on detecting forgery versus the provenance of the art piece. So using the comparative analysis, he's talking about, well, of course, the artist's signature. So we look at the artist's signature, but is that easy to fake? And then he said, the color choices. If you knew that artist, you would know his color at a certain decade of his time before and maybe during his later stage in life, or if he's alive, his colors today. And then there's something like the brush stroke patterns, the way, which I think this is changeable now. It changes through the years, the brush stroke patterns of a certain age of an artist as they mature. And then there's something like the anatomy, the facial features. So if you look at the big landscape with a figurative, for example, a landscape with figurative, and you look at the facial features, and this is supposed to belong to a certain era and time, then I think some concepts will tell you whether or not that might be real. And the landscape details of the time, if you're talking about the 19th century, how the landscape changed from 19th century to today. The architectural details, the costume that people are wearing, and the dimensions. Now I have a very interesting talk earlier about dimensions. So if the artist is known to be painting for a 2x3, and then suddenly there's a buyer that, oh, I want the one Luna, I want a bottle of Francisco. And then the guy tells you, we can get that. And suddenly presents to you a bigger art piece. So I guess my question to you would be, because in the Philippines, how could we, first tell me, what is the situation of the forgery of these masters? Let's just focus on the Filipino masters. What is the situation right now Because there's so many art collectors, I just want to be sure. The truth is, I have my own friends buying from the United States. They want to come here and they want to buy into these old names. But give us a sense of what's happening right now. Let's start with it.
Well, at one time, because in Angola we have a master Bottom Francisco, and of course there was Vicente Manansala in the nearby barangay. So the problem with authenticity of the artwork is when an artist have already are come already in this world. So there was a time at the National Museum where they organized a set of authenticator of national artists. So with mga national artists, you have a painting, you bought a resell artwork of the master na walang authenticity, you bring it to the National Museum, and thereon silang mga assigned authenticator of an artwork. But there was so many questions among artists also and collectors of are these people assigned by the National Museum are really qualified to authenticate such an artwork.
Who are these people very normally?
Well, usually, mga art collectors who knows the artist very well, and then there are mga assistants, former assistants of the artists themselves, and then another one from the family of the artists. So, parang yun yung formula na ginawa ng National Museum. But somehow, there are questions raised na truly ba na lahat ng dadalhin dyan ay walang makakalusot na fake artwork. So yun yung the question that was raised, no? Hindi ba magkakaroon ng somehow, pwede bang, sabi nga, baka mabili din yung mga authenticator. When you say, sabi nga, pagka pera na ang in-offer sa iyo, sometimes, without really judging them, pero naroon din yung temptation.
And that is my next question to you. Because it appears that there were a strong buzz around about the problem is some forgers are their own family members. Sorry, but I just heard the news somewhere with longtime friends and having been in the arts and also for the past 30 years. So, how valid are these findings that the problem is actually the relatives?
Well, alam mo, sometimes yung mga ating mga national artists, when they were gone, most of their artworks are already in the hands of collectors. So most of the time, itong mga naiwang pamilya are left without nothing at all. Without nothing at all. I'm talking about Bottom Francisco. Nang Bottom died practically sudden death in 1969. I was then a student of fine arts at the University of Santo Tomas. And the day he died, I was probably about 7 o'clock in the morning passing through his house. I was able to talk to the master for a few minutes. No?
So you were the last person then?
Probably yes, because the day I came back from school, about 9 o'clock in the evening, I was shocked to know that he was already dead. No? And during that time, he was working on the mural of the story, life story of President Ferdinand Marcos. And he was barely finished the portrait of Marcos when he died. So his assistant, Salvador Ruban, finished the mural. Although bottom when every time he does a mural, meron namang study, magawa siya ng watercolor study para guide yun, para yung mga assistant niya can follow. So yun yung time na yun na he passed away. Of course, yung mural na yun lang yung huling na naiwan, tinapos ng assistant. But kasi si Botong, mga commission artist yan, halos lahat ng ginagawa niya, puro mga murals. The only time magawa ng mga isel yan, for a very close friend lang, very choosy. Most of his time talaga, preoccupied siya sa paggawa ng mural. And after his death, so kumbaga sa naiwan, left ang pamilya, walang naiwan masyadong paintings na naiwan ng master. But the sad thing about that, yung one member of the family, talagang walang ginawa kundi magbenta ng mga event, drawings, studies, watercolor, ay dinidispose niya without even the consent of the mother.
So at the end of the day, wala na talaga. So how is it na meron pa rin available sometimes?
That's the, meron kasi kaming naging issue. At that time, meron mga helpers, hindi naman talaga helpers sa painting, kundi mga tagalinis ng kanyang mga brush, tagagawa ng canvas. These are mga self-taught artists na natuto na sa pagmamasid. Ang ginagawa nitong mga dalawang assistant na ito, talagang passionate sila na kinokopya nila talaga yung mga work ng master. Merong halimbawa mga published works si Boto, kinakat out nila yan. Tapos kokopyahin nila. Ako'y natutuwa nga doon sa dalawa na yun dahil eventually itong dalawang ito naging assistant ko sa mga murals na ginagawa ko. But these are on sculptural works, mga concrete sculptures. Yun yung mga unang mga works ko ginagawa. So, but then on the side, talagang nag-reproduction sila ng mga works ni Boto.
Although they kept it, from what I know in the student, they kept it for themselves.
They kept it for
So
themselves.
ngayon yung issue, paano nakalabas yun?
Well, yun na nga eh. So, ang nangyayari dyan, since maraming demand for Botong's work, wala naman talagang mostly, wala naman siya mga easel work. Lumabas sa market itong mga paintings na ito as original.
As fast on, as fast.
Original. And the of this is, of course, the people who authenticate this are member of the family.
Alright, so that's where the members of family come in. Well, Mr. Garibay, meron ba tayong mga instances that, in this art scene, how are these things possible? How prevalent are these things in another area? Sino ba yung ibang masasabi natin who has somehow contributed to this kind of problem? So now, at one side, we have some relatives themselves, and maybe the art dealers and galleries might be involved in this.
Ang tingin ko kasi dyan parang it's a situation created by the market itself.
The demand for the
And parang bootleg na Nike yan eh. sa akin kasi,
Pati print yata, di ba?
I mean, the whole idea, I think, is some people trying to cash in the whole ecosystem. They're able to make a living out of it. Sa akin, parang, I'm not really one who would give some kind of a moral judgment to that issue. Kasi parang, well, if it's a good artwork and it gets reproduced, replicated, lalo na if it's a work that is able to impart something really worthy, no? Why not? No? Parang, and then nakinawa pa yung iba. But it's not something I would like advocate. No? It's just saying it's there. No? I get some of my works are sometimes forged. No? And I guess it's more of an incident where you feel actually flattered. No? And someone's actually trying to copy your work. So, sa akin, if there's a lot of it going around, no, and it's very hard to determine whether it's authentic or forged piece of art, no, it can mean several things. No? The artwork is easy to copy. No? So, if it's easy to copy, ibig ba sabihin, mahinang klaseng art yun? No? Kunyari, there's certain manner by which it can easily be reproduced dahil siguro mas madali yung rendering, no? There's no difficult brush strokes to follow, gano'n. Or yung mga very complicated approach to colors, yung gano'n. It's all within the context of a capitalist system. Kasi capitalism sort of declares its own self-ethics. No, parang sinasabi, you cannot do a bootleg of a established product. Dahil this company works so hard at establishing itself to get to that point. And for you to just come up with a cheap copy of it and sell it for the same price. Di ba? Parang, ano yan, masama yan. Pero, I guess, if you think about it, parang, if it's already selling in the millions, and someone just wants to get a slice of that, kasi, maraming I do not want to simplify the issue, that's the point. It will always be the case. I've met some people who parang admit that they did forgeries of Amor Solo, mga ganon. Hindi naman sila, hindi marami ang buhay nila. Ano pa rin? Because they're doing it for someone else. That's where it becomes an ethical issue. Kasi these people who are actually behind all this scam, sila yung kumikita.
That's right.
Correct.
So, yeah. But, like I said, it's a form of flattery on the part of the artist if you get forged.
I have a question. Are there laws in the Philippines? I'm not really very familiar with what's going on. Are there laws protecting these artworks, or even the artists themselves, living or gone?
Maraming mga naipas na law. Even the idea that the artist is supposed to get a part of the proceeds, like if an artwork sells on the auction market or it gets sells in the secondary market. There is a law that entitles the artist to a certain percentage of the sales. Pero the thing is, yung so-called implementing rules and regulations
Bumili ka sa buhay na artist rather than the dead artist.
And that is the best provenance.
Kasi, you know, when the artist already gone, then who will, yung authentication niya magiging talagang di mo naman masisi, no? Pero, for money, na bumili, hindi naman lahat, pero majority kaya bili. Okay, at one time I was made to authenticate some of Bottom's work. You know, una, sabi ko, sige, kaya ko namang mag-authenticate ng Bottom's work. Pero on the other hand, I declined because merong mga talagang insistent. Sabihin nila, original talaga yan original. Alam ko naman na hindi original, alam ko naman na fake. So pag hindi mo pinirmahan ng authenticity, minsan, nagkakaroon ka pa ng problema. Dahil at one point baka nagkakaroon pa ng their threat. Dahil they are talking of millions of pesos na all they needed is authentication paper to sell the artwork. So nag-hands off ako dyan. Sabi ko, you said you bring it to the closest assistant for photo. Siya na lang. Nung bandang huli, na-realize niya na problema nga. No? Mag-authenticate kasi ganun.
I love how we're about to end this discussion that the best provenance is buy from the living master. And you have them right here. Is there anything else you want to add, Master Manny, Garibay, about ano yung best solution?
Buy from younger artists.
Oh.
Kasi they will have a longer time around this planet, di ba? So, but siguro, while saying that, no, maganda rin for any collectors to develop an eye for art. No? Kasi sometimes nadadala mo sila sa salesmanship ng gallery. Pag build up ng gallery, yung gano'n. So, art is like fine dining. You should be able to discern yung well-refined taste. So its taste, its nourishment. So ibig sabihin, the art has to have a way by which you can tell that it is the product of a thorough distillation, no? And fermentation of ideas, of skills. So, kasi ngayon, like Nemi mentioned, no? Ang daming mga talented artists. So talent counts, but that's not the only way by which you assess the value of art. No? Kasi marami nang magaling, and there's also a lot of ways by which you can actually make the process easy for you. Technology has made the process of painting so easy. Lalo na works are photo-based. So there has to be evidence that the work has something in it. There has to be substance. Whether it's in the ideas, whether it's in the execution, whether, there's a whole range by which you can tell that is something in the work that distinguishes it as different from all the works that you see. Kasi everything else becomes common when you start exercising your ability to distinguish and discern, no? the differences. And then when there's too many of the same kind, you watch out for the nuances. No? You know? Kasi doon, ang reality ng art market is there are thousands of aspiring artists. No? Those who really make the cut, no? Parang it's really a process of continuous screening. It's a marathon. No? So for young artists, many tend to get demoralized if they don't sell. No? And then they fade out of the picture. Those who persist somehow will be able to make it kahit na hindi sila bumibenta. You know, because it is out of sheer belief and affirmation of a self-identity that they are artists, that they continue to do art. No? So yun yung point, no? Parang, and it's going to come out in their ways eventually if it's not there yet. No? Kasi it's out that persistence, lumalabas yung character, yung lating, yung depth, yung substance ng art. You know? Kaya sometimes if the work looks too raw, just keep working. No? Persistence is what it's about. No? It's a marathon. You know? So while I would encourage collectors to buy from young artists, no? I would also urge them to be more discriminating, discerning, makilakis ng maigi. No?
Kilatisin mo
Kilatisin ng
artist
maigi.
before you buy into artists.
Yeah. And I guess it helps, no, parang if one consults with, well, this is where us senior artists can come into the picture. We can give advice, no? Bakit ito mas maganda kumpara dito, no? So ano yung mga merits and isang work over the other works, you know? So yun yung ano, kasi especially for younger artists, I think it's usually collectors tend to tawag nito, collect artists within their age range, contemporaries.
Well, that's a wonderful way to kind of end this discussion because we don't have a lot of time. Maybe we'll continue this discussion online at Eagle Eye Charities, the nonprofit organization that brings you a series of mentoring. Our website is eaglecharities.org/mentoring. If you go to eaglecharities.org, you will see the webpage of Manny, Garibay. You will see the page of Nemi, Meranda. And of course, they have one page just dedicated to mentoring. Since 2020, the onset of COVID, we started the mentoring series with our most revered masters that we meet today. And what a wonderful way to talk about this right here where so many young artists are keenly watching you right now. So again, from the Linaman Art Residency, I have Manny Garibay and your booth here at number alright. But Linaman Art Residency in Amadeo, of course, one University, and direct from Angola, then Meranda Art House. His non-stop taught young artists in the next generation. And together they help us develop the next generation of artists through a continuing mentoring. And on my behalf, yours truly, Carol Tanjutco, I have authorized the release of my free book through Amazon.com. In the next 48 hours, all of you can log in to Amazon.com. My book is called ABCs of Investing for Gen XYZ. Ayan, madali na na, ABC, XYZ. So, ABCs of Investing for Gen XYZ. Beginning now to the next 48 hours, it's absolutely free at Amazon.com. chapters 3, 4, and 5 will teach all of you how to start saving your money, habits, how to accumulate wealth, and how to differentiate the different types of investment vehicles, whether stocks, bonds, and the not-so-favored cryptocurrency. And you will learn by book why. We just don't have enough time right now, but we do thank very much the art sponsor that time. Thank you for having us today. The Eagle Eye Art Gallery is out there at the tent. And I hope you drop by because I have some of Meranda over there. It's also the Luzon Art Gallery. Please log into the auction, the artspot.com. The auction is fast running and it's almost over. Of course, you can find Manny, Garibay. At the Luzon Gallery, I saw some of Manny's work there. I have some. You actually do have some work there that you probably not know. Maybe some resale. And there's some Meranda at the Luzon and a G23 over there. So I'll see you later. Again, for provenance, the best way is buy from a living master and the next generation. So with that, thank you so much. And anything else? Last word? Thank you so much.
Well, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be here today at the Art Spot. And I am looking forward to the future activities of Art Spot here in Tagaytay. And I can see this, that these are healthy things that's happening in the art scene. So we have the Manila art and a lot of artist activity are happening in the National Capital Region, and it's moving out of Manila and having it here in Tagaytay. Thank you very much for your presence here today.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much once again. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have Manny Garibay, Nemi Meranda, and of course, you're free to pose for a picture with them right now. But Zed, the Masters. All right, we'll see you. And don't forget at Amazon.com, get your free book in the next 48 hours. ABCs of Investing for Gen XYZ. Thank you. We can pose for some photos, right?
Eagle Eye Charities Inc. Is rewarding a certificate of appreciation in grateful acknowledgement of your unwavering support to our causes. Mr. Nemi Meranda and Sir Manny Garibay, given this 23rd day of September 2023 at the Art Spot, Tagaytay, Philippines.